Hey guys, good morning once again. Welcome back. Hope you all are doing good. With this positive hope, let's we go ahead. Before going into the lesson today, actually we are going to learn an epitome of courage. What does it mean? Best ever example of courage, daring, and best ever examples of challenging, facing challenges. मराठीमध्ये त्याचं साधारण अर्थ होईल उत्कृष्ट उदाहरण कशाचं धाडसाचं. What does courage mean? Courage does not mean to stand in front of the train or holding the snake in a hand or going and shouting in front of the lion. It does not mean courage. आपल्याकडे करेजचा वेगळा अर्थ लावला जातो. रोडावर असं ताणून उभा राहायचं म्हणजे करेज नसतं. Courage means all the condition of life is against you and you are positively facing them with a smile and achieving your goal in the life, putting all the difficulties aside. That's called courage. Okay, before going inside it, please see here key points. I have written key points. What will you learn from this lesson? Actually, talking about this phenomena, this extraordinary person, Dr. Stephen Hawking, Professor Stephen Hawking, is like insult, but we have a lesson. That's why we have to learn. So, what will you learn from this lesson? The very first point, we should treat handicapped people with respect as they deserve. So, we have to treat whatever handicapped person, mentally, physically, whatever the person has, conditions, we need to treat them respectfully or with a respect. Why? Because they deserve it, being a human. Second, so these points we learn from this lesson. Second, we have to communicate with them and inspire them. Most of the time, handicapped people are so depressed because they compare themselves with the others. So obviously, they should be negative. We have to communicate with them. We need to go close to them, take them into confidence, and talk to them, inspire them. Try to find out what kind of qualities they have and inspire them. This second point we have to learn from this lesson. Third point, what will you learn from this lesson again? We should motivate them by putting success example of others similar to them. We need to tell them real stories of successful person just like them. Suppose a person who has a crooked leg, we can give that person such a beautiful example of other person who is absolutely success and a celebrity in his own field. Then number 4, what will you learn again from this lesson? We can show them that anything in life can be achieved by hard work. Being a success in life does not depend on person. It depends on desire and hard work. Whatever desire you have, what kind of hard work you are ready to pay, and you will get your success. That's a ticket. One way or one by one situation, one way tickets. There is no shortcut at all. So we need to tell such people, those who are handicapped or physically disabled, that they can do anything in life. Just they need to do hard work. That's it. Number 5, what point again we can learn from this lesson? Why do we have this lesson? So we can show them in such a handicapped people the merits of never give up attitude. We need to help them. We need to help them to develop an attitude of never give up. Whatever happens, don't leave until you get your success. Let you die, it doesn't matter. But keep working on, keep pushing on. And this is the attitude we have to help to create among such people. So this type of things we can learn from the person who has been given our lesson. Before starting again, at my left side of the board, I have written paragraph-wise difficult words with their meanings. So I request you to please let's we have one quick tour about the words. Paragraph 1. In paragraph 1, first we have two words, hell and epitome. Epitome is our name of the lesson. So this is, what does it mean? First, held, H-A-I-L-E-D. Hell, here there are so many meanings of the hell. The words which we have in our chapter right now, related to the cosmology, science, physics, then medicine, and so many such of doctrines of studies. So that's why this might seem little bit difficult, but once you have an idea, it's over. So health considered समजला गेला अशा अर्थाने आपल्या पुस्तकामध्ये त्याचा वापर झालेला आहे. Epitome, a perfect example, the best example, उत्कृष्ट उदाहरण कशाचं? धाडसाचं, of courage. Part second, paragraph second, we have calamity. Calamity means disaster, ruin, विनाश, विध्वंस. एखादं फ्लड येतं किंवा मग अर्थक्वेक होतं तर ते आहे त्याला कॅलॅमिटी किंवा डिझास्टर असं म्हणतात. त्याला विनाश या अर्थाने आपल्या पुस्तकामध्ये उपयोग झालेला आहे. Personification, the meaning of that word similar in English, having lots of qualities. Each person has lots of qualities. All-rounder we say, all-rounder. But all-rounder is quite different. Having lots of qualities of particular field. Suppose if you are in a medical studies and you have lots of knowledge about it, of so many areas of the same field, that is called personification. त्या अर्थाने पर्सोनिफिकेशन हा वर्ड वापरला जातो. भरपूर क्षमता असलेला माणूस ह्या अर्थाने त्याचा उपयोग होतो. नाव म्हणून आहे. पॅराग्राफ 3, बेंट ऑन. बेंडचा सेकंड फॉर्म आणि थर्ड फॉर्म सुद्धा बेंट ऑन आहे. लीन त्याचा सिमिलर फॉर्म होईल आणि त्याचाच लीनचा सेकंड फॉर्म लेंथ किंवा लिंक सुद्धा असं प्रोनाउन्सिएशन आहे. च्याकडे झुकलेला, च्या बाजूला झुकलेला, बेंट खाली झुकणे अशा अर्थाने. पण इथे च्या कडे झुकलेला, अट्रॅक्टेड या अर्थाने तो वापरलेला आहे. Paragraph 4, clumsy. Clumsy, that word is absolutely related to the Professor Stephen Hawking, who have passed 1 year before. So clumsy, similar meaning in English, clunky. ओभडधोबड किंवा अस्पष्ट. बोलणं असेल, वागणं असेल, चलणं असेल, आपण म्हणतो ना बरोबर चालला काय पाय पाय बोलून पडला अशा पद्धतीने, म्हणजे ते क्लमझी आहे. ज्याला आपल्या शरीरावर नियंत्रण ठेवता येत नाही आपल्या हावभावाला. Perplexed, in paragraph 4 we have another word perplexed. Meaning is complicated, गुंतागुंत किंवा बिकट. Perplexed life. Diagnosed, एखादा आजार आपल्याला जेव्हा समजून येतं आपल्या शरीरात त्याला डायग्नोस म्हणतात. डायग्नोस मेडिकल एनालिसिस जे डॉक्टर करतात, एक्झामाइन करतात, एक्झामिनेशन करतात, त्याचं रोगाचं निदान आपण म्हणतो. म्हणजे हे समजलं की ह्यांना असा रोग आहे. Then paragraph 4 we have inclined. There are so many meanings of inclined. Here vertical, आपल्या पुस्तकामध्ये vertical या अर्थाने म्हणजे च्याकडे कल लागलेला किंवा झुकणारा, कलणारा. आता एखादा मुलगा असतो त्याला मॅथमॅटिक्स खूप आवडतं, मग त्याचा तो इन्क्लाइंड झाला. Paragraph 5, prognosis, that is another word in paragraph 5. म्हणजे त्याचा अर्थ असतो प्रिडिक्शन ऑफ डिसीज. म्हणजे एखाद्याच्या स्वभावावरून आपण सांगतो ना तुला काहीतरी बिमारी होणार आहे किंवा आपण असं त्याची भाकीत करतो त्या आजाराचं, त्याला प्रोग्नोसिस म्हणतात. रोगाचे पूर्वनिदान म्हणजे निदान झालं नाही फक्त अंदाज लावला. आयरॉनिकचा सरकॅस्टिक किंवा दुसरं 2-3 अर्थ आहेत. इथं आयरॉनिकचा उपरोधिक म्हणजे बेजोड, सोबत न बसणार. डिस्मल, इथं चिअरलेस, डिस्मल लाईफ, डिस्मल मूड. You have a dismal mood since morning, man, like that. म्हणजे सकाळपासून उदास दिसतो, उदास या अर्थाने. Vigor. ब्रिटिश मध्ये आर सायलेंट असतं, अमेरिकेमध्ये आर जास्त प्रोनाउन्स करतात. र या अर्थाने. फर्स्ट हे अमेरिकन, फास्ट हे ब्रिटिश. मग विगर, स्ट्रेंथ, जोम किंवा सामर्थ्य किंवा उत्साह एखाद्या गोष्टीचा. Paragraph 6 we have disabled तुम्हाला माहिती आहे, handicap, which you have learnt in your science book. The person who has some difficulties about or natural difficulties about physical. Paragraph 7 we have 3 difficult words. Authority, official means अधिकारी व्यक्ती, एखाद्या त्या क्षेत्रातला पूर्ण अधिकार त्याला दिलेला आहे की हे त्या स्टँडर्ड आहे त्याचं. Numerous, there are numerous, millions of stars in the galaxy, like that. Of numerous, a good deal, a great deal, bharpur, so many, much more. खूप, पुष्कळ या अर्थाने. Honorary, 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 given as an honor. Honorary म्हणजे ज्या माणसाला तो मान दिलेला आहे, मान म्हणून दिलेला, पद म्हणून दिलेला. आपण लोकांना तसं देत असतो. So this is all about your means superficial look of the lesson. So let's start our lesson without ado. Page number 61 first. I would like to take you a little bit pointers here. Page number 61, everybody. Check it once again. All right. Warming up. We have yellow color box. In one column, there are some terms, words are given there. And in second column, what that terms related to, we have to write as an answer. So the very first blind will come in previously used term, blind. Number one, A, already they have given the answer. Number second, deaf, already given there. B, hearing impaired, hearing, 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 impaired, yes, impaired. Then number third, dumb, dumb as dumb. तिथं दिलेला आहे ऑलरेडी आन्सर, स्पीच impaired. Number 4, mad. Then D, answer will be mentally, mentally, mentally challenged, challenged, challenged. Number 5, lame. Answer would be in E. Its answer will be physically disabled. डिसेबल्ड इथे लिहिलेलं आहे का तरी बघा, आणि फिजिकली हे तर डिसेबल्ड, फक्त फिजिकली त्याला लावायचं आहे. ओके. क्वेश्चन नंबर सेकंड, रीड द बिगिनिंग अँड कंप्लीट द स्टोरी इन युअर ओन वर्ड्स. Sumit, the son of shoemaker, was a highly intelligent student in a municipal school. His maths teacher called him Einstein, for he was brilliant in maths. He loved maths. Sumit wanted to study further after SSC, however he suffered from polio. And now continue the story with a favorable positive ending. Some hints are given there. एक मुलगा आहे, त्याचे वडील बुटांना पॉलिश करण्याचं काम करतात आणि तो खूप हुशार आहे मॅथमॅटिक्स मध्ये. इव्हन त्याचे शिक्षक त्याला आइन्स्टाईन म्हणून बोलवतात. हे म्हणजे सगळ्यात मोठं माणसाचं कमाई आहे असे नाव म्हणून बोलवलं. सेकंड, तर तो मॅथमॅटिक्स मध्ये खूप छान आहे, परंतु त्याला पोलिओ आहे आणि मग आपल्याला त्याच्यावर अशी स्टोरी लिहायची पॉझिटिव्हली. दिस इज युअर होमवर्क, ट्राय इट. ओके. रिक्वेस्ट यू टू कम ऑन पेज नंबर 62. Page number 62. Okay, everybody, check it there. Page number 62. As I'm going to read paragraph wise, I would like you to pay attention there on each line wherever I will go. And if you face any kind of difficult words, so please, in short, you can have. Page number 62, everybody. Okay, in brackets, something is given there. We often tend to hide behind our weaknesses, abilities, handicaps. त्याचा अर्थ होईल, आपण नेहमीच आपल्याकडे ज्या कमतरता आहेत आपल्या शरीरामध्ये असेल किंवा आपल्याकडे ज्या फॉल्ट्स असतील आपल्या स्वभावातले, ते आपण नेहमी लपवायचा प्रयत्न करतो. और मोन ओव्हर देम होल लाईफ थ्रू, किंवा मग आपण सगळे जीवनाभर त्याचं गाणं गात असतो, त्याच्यावर आपल्याला म्हणजे वी लमेंट ऑन देम. इन शॉर्ट, Dr. Stephen Hawking, one of the greatest scientists of this century, did not do so. Dr. Stephen Hawking हे जगातलं सगळ्यात मोठं नाव आहे. One of the most honorary persons in the history of science. कॅटेगरीमध्ये बसतात ते आइन्स्टाईन, न्यूटन आणि गॅलिलिओ, आणि त्याच्यानंतर मग ह्यांचं नंबर येतं. He comes in that category. So he's not a common person to talk about. Cosmologist, mathematician, physicist, astrophysicist, and former dreamer. Though he cannot move his body, he cannot even just only eye. The moment of eye was just can be moved. Rest of the body was absolutely motionless, like a dead. was absolutely free in his mind, and he was one of the superest mind. Even he was considered as a his intelligence is considered or compared with the Einstein. Then Hawking, Dr. Stephen Hawking, one of the greatest scientists of the century, did not do so. पण ह्या शतकातले सगळ्यात महान वैज्ञानिक जे आहेत डॉक्टर स्टीफन हॉकिंग ह्यांनी तसं काही केलं नाही. आपल्या शरीरामध्ये ज्या गोष्टी त्यांच्या म्हणजे ही कुड नॉट मूव्ह आहे, त्यांना एवढा आघात झाला आणि त्यांना खूप काही करायचं होतं. बट ही डिड नॉट स्टॉप, डिड नॉट मूव्ह, डिड नॉट फील सॅड, जस्ट गो ऑन. Then did not do so in spite of suffering from a very rare disease, dreaded disease. Dr. Hawking continued his research and undoubted his exemplary courage should inspire us to do our best even under trying circumstances. I mean, whatever he has done in it throughout all his life, that will inspire us. Though he had not, good conditions, physically especially, then also he has achieved an extraordinary that in centuries or 200-300 years nobody can do that. Whatever he has done, so he inspires us that whatever circumstances you have or whatever conditions your life is in, do not never give up. Always focus on your dream. This is all about the lesson, page number 62. The very first paragraph starts from exactly 300. Just check it there. Exactly 300 years after the death of the great scientist Galileo Galilei, who is the first man who claimed that the Earth is not the center of the solar system. The Sun is the center, and Earth is one of the celestial objects. Before him, there was tradition to believe, because Jesus Christ may have predicted that Jesus Christ had said the earth is the center of the universe, of the solar system, and he has just said it is not. So going against Jesus Christ is going against the whole that type of people. It was not a joke. So that's why he was cut into pieces by the church, and he died in that way. So exactly 300 years after the death of great scientist Galileo, Dr. Stephen Hawking was born in Oxford, London, on the 8th day of January 1942. Little did his parents know that one day their little boy would be hailed as one of the greatest scientists of this century. Neither could anybody imagine that his mind would soar up into the space like light. More importantly, none could predict that he would be the very epitome of courage. Whenever Galileo had died, then 300 years time passed, and after that, on 8th of January 1942, a man was born, a boy was born. His name was Stephen Hawking. Whenever he was small, even his parents had not a slight idea about that their son Stephen Hawking will be one of the greatest scientists of the century can have. So, and second, nobody even imagined that he would do something in the mathematics and will be the superest person in physics and astrology. But, and second thing, whatever he has imagined, his mind used to soar always into the space. He spent almost his lifetime, thinking about universe, planets, celestial objects, and everything. So he is one of the greatest example of courage. तर पहिल्या पॅराग्राफ मध्ये दिस इज ऑटोबायोग्राफिकल लेसन. तर हे कोणी सांगत नाही, ऑटोबायोग्राफिकल लेसन दिलेलं आहे. तर पहिल्या पॅराग्राफ मध्ये सांगितलेलं आहे की गॅलिलिओच्या मृत्यूनंतर 300 वर्षाचा काळ गेला. त्यात कोणतंही जास्त उलाढाल झालेला नाही. देर आर सो मेनी सायंटिस्ट अगेन. 300 वर्षाच्या नंतर त्यांचा जन्म झालेला आहे 8 जानेवारी 1942 1942 ला. जेव्हा ते लहान होते त्यावेळेस कदाचितच त्यांच्या आईवडिलांना कोणती कल्पना नव्हती की त्यांचं मुलगा एक दिवशी जगातला सगळ्यात म्हणजे ही विल बी कन्सिडर्ड ॲज वन ऑफ द ग्रेटेस्ट सायंटिस्ट. त्यांना वाटत नव्हतं, कुणालाच म्हणजे वाटलं नव्हतं की ते एवढ्या मोठ्या पदाला पोहोचतील, एवढं मोठं काम करतील विज्ञानामध्ये स्पेशली. this is all about, and then it is considered, he is considered as a त्यांना धाडसाचं उत्कृष्ट आणि मूर्तिमंत उदाहरण म्हणून गणलं जातं. सो पॅराग्राफ सेकंड, courage is a wonderful thing. It is that quality which makes people focus on this, because whole lesson depends on the second paragraph. Courage is wonderful thing. It is that quality which makes people not lose heart when faced with a great calamity. It would not be an exaggeration to say that Dr. Stephen Hawking, a living legend of cosmology, is the very personification of courage and hope. Except his mind, his whole body is bound to be a wheelchair. Thanks to a cruel quirk of fate, yet he is one of the greatest scientists of the century. Second paragraph is all about what does courage mean. In the beginning only, I have told you, courage does not mean to stand in front of somebody else showing your chest. Just come, I will show you. This is not the courage at all. Courage means what? This is wonderful feeling. What kind of feeling? It's kind of a quality in the human body. What kind of quality it is that make or that helps the people to promote or to motivate that not to lose heart, not to lose confidence, not to be sad, not to mourn, and face all the difficulties and problems of the life with strength and with the power. So this is called courage. And this would not be the more thing if we say Dr. Stephen Hawking is one of the examples of these things, courage. Why? Because he could not move his whole body. He was suffering from a very dreadful and rare disease. I don't think any other person on the planet can have that disease except Stephen Hawking. Then, so it may be the part of his luck or bad luck, we can say, whatever it may be, whatever it is. But one thing is confirmed and fact and evidence that he is one of the greatest scientists of the century. Second paragraph त्यांच्या ॲटिट्यूड बद्दल आहे आणि डेफिनेशन दिलेली आहे की करेज कशाला म्हणतात. धाडस काय असतं, तर धाडस एका प्रकारची क्वालिटी आहे, एका प्रकारचं गुण आहे. असा गुण की जे तुम्हाला शिकवतो की तुम्ही तुमचा आत्मविश्वास कधीच खचू द्यायचा नाही आणि नेहमी तुम्ही पुढे जात राहायचं. आपल्या जीवनात ध्येय जे आहे ते नेहमी मिळवत राहायचे आणि जीवनामध्ये येणारी प्रत्येक अडचण, प्रत्येक प्रॉब्लेम, प्रत्येक गोष्ट, प्रत्येक चॅलेंज तुम्ही चुटकीसरशी फेस करायचं, मागं हटायचं नाही. त्याला करेज म्हणतात. रेलगाडीच्या समोर उभं राहायचं नाही, आगीगाडीच्या. इट वुड बी, आणि ही अतिशयोक्ती होणार नाही की असं सांगणं की डॉक्टर स्टेफन हॉकिंग हे त्याचं एक मूर्तिमंत उदाहरण आहे, एकमेव उदाहरण आहे खरं पाहिलं तर. आणि ते जगात म्हणजे ते एक लिजेंड, म्हणजे जागतिक सत्य आहे की ते सगळ्यात मोठे सायंटिस्ट आहे कॉस्मॉलॉजीचे. Then take the paragraph number 3 we have on page number 62. Everybody, an average child, Stephen grew up to be a normal teenager full of mischief and lots of love for music and mathematics. Even though his father wanted him to study medicine, he was bent on studying mathematics. The University of Oxford at that time did not have a course in mathematics, so he hoped to study physics. He opted to study physics instead. Third paragraph is about his teenage. Every person in a teenage, or when you are like 14, 13, 14, 15 years, so you like to play mischief and riding cycles, fight with your brothers, go ahead, do some things. So Stephen Hawking was one of them. He was doing the same thing as normal people do. And second thing is what his life was full with the mischief. Try to fight, make some fun with their sister, brothers. So that thing was going on in his life. But he had two things in his life. His love was for mathematics and music. Both of things were so close to him. As everybody's parent demands something else, and children have something else in the mind. So his parents were not, different. Parents of the Stephen Hawking demanded that he should go into the medicine because at that time maybe medicine might have lots of future. But the boy was Stephen Hawking was absolutely interested in mathematics, so that's why he went in that field to study mathematics. But at that time, Oxford University, which is in London, had no any mathematical course, so that's why he had taken physics instead of it. If anybody wants to learn physics, that person should have good mathematics because that is the only language to understand the things. Then थर्ड पॅराग्राफ मध्ये स्टीफन हॉकिंगचं लहानपण सांगितलेलं आहे. लहान मुलांसारखं टीनेज म्हणजे किशोरवयीन मुलं जशी असतात बाहेर भाऊ भावंडासोबत खेळणं त्यांच्यासोबत धिंगाणे करणं इकडे तिकडे अशा गोष्टी ते पण तेच करायचे कारण ही इज ऑल्सो ह्युमन बीइंग ही वॉज ॲक्च्युअली. आणि त्यांच्या जीवनामध्ये दोन गोष्टी होत्या एक तर म्युझिक आणि दुसरं त्यांचं प्रेम होतं सगळ्यात जास्त मॅथमॅटिक्सवर. आणि त्यावेळेला जेव्हा ते शिकायचे त्यांचं प्राथमिक शिक्षण आणि माध्यमिक शिक्षण पूर्ण झालं त्यावेळेस त्यांच्या आईवडिलांना वाटत होतं की आपला मुलगा मेडिकल फील्डमध्ये गेला पाहिजे मेडिसिनचं स्टडी त्याने करायला पाहिजे. परंतु त्यांचा कसा विचार नव्हता. स्टीफन हॉकिंगला मॅथमॅटिक्स खूप आवडायचं म्हणून त्यांनी मॅथमॅटिक्सकडे जायचं ठरवलं आणि गणित हा विषय घेऊन त्यांना खूप शिकायचं होतं पुढं. बट ॲट द टाईम म्हणजे 1940च्या दरम्यान ऑक्सफर्ड युनिव्हर्सिटीमध्ये मॅथमॅटिक्सचा असा कोणताही कोर्स नव्हता जो पुढे शिकवला जाईल. त्यासाठी त्यांनी फिजिक्स भौतिकशास्त्र हा विषय निवडला आणि ही वेंट इन देअर. Page number 62, paragraph number 4, everybody. At the age of 17, Stephen started noticing that he was becoming increasingly clumsy and even fell down a couple of times for no reason. This perplexed him and he went to see his family doctor, who diagnosed him as suffering from an extremely rare disease, ALS or LOU. त्याचं नाव आहे Gehrig's disease that affects the nervous system and eventually weakness all the muscles of the body. Then Stephen says, page number 63, paragraph number 4 is going on. Take it from page number 63, very first paragraph. Stephen says that even as a child, his muscle coordination was nothing to write home about. He recollects that his handwriting would send his teacher into a fit of frenzy. Nor was he inclined towards sports. Nevertheless, this disease came as a bolt from the blue. Then, what do we have in the paragraph 4? The very first, at the age of 17, he realized. 17 means it was the beautiful and full with the energy, full with the power, the age with something extraordinary. You can do anything in that age. You have lots of energy to create something new if you use it nicely. And unfortunately, at the age of 70 only he realized, because so many times whenever he used to stand, his body used to be somewhat loose with no reason. So many times he used to fall down. Whenever he would raise his hand, suddenly the hand used to come downside, like there is no power, someone else is handling his body. So that Stephen Hawking at the age of teenage, the age of learning and doing so many things, you can imagine what kind of things had been on his mind as a child. And he went to the family doctor. So family doctor examined him and said that he is suffering from a very rare, I don't think anybody else on this planet can have such a type of disease rather than that person. And even though that person need to be healthy and good because he has to do so many things in science. Then his doctor diagnosed that he will suffer from so many things in the life because his body will not support him at all. Then and what is the effect of this disease? It affects your nervous system. Means whatever it's like you don't have skeleton, just you have a skin, so it will not stand, it will just fall down like a sari falls down. Then weaknesses all the muscles, means it it makes unwatch, or it makes what kind of term is there in medical science, I think, I don't know, but it is said that when muscle does not work. Paralyzing is completely different. That some kind of only part of the body cannot work, but rest of the body can work. But in that sense, in this disease, whatever disease Stephen Hawking have, nothing can work, and just except movement of the eyes. The rest of everything is silent. So whenever he was child, means whenever he was in a school, he recollects, means he reminds so many things what happens to him. Whenever he used to write, even though he was a child, so his hand was not stable to write. If you, it feels like, you can take as an example, if you are sitting in a bus and bus is so shaking and moving here and there, you are trying to write, you cannot write at all. And if you write, nobody will read at all. So the same thing happens with Stephen Hawking. Whenever he was child, the teachers, those who were there, watching his handwriting would be so angry because nobody can understand what did he write. He was so talented at that time. And whatever has life in his life, he has to. It was like a shock for him, like any other boy, like any other child who is 17 years old. The paragraph number 4 मध्ये हे रोग त्यांना कसा झालेला आहे त्याच्याबद्दल माहिती आहे. 17 वर्ष 17 त्यांचं होतं, जे ज्या वयामध्ये ऊर्जा असते, काहीतरी नवीन निर्माण करायचं असतं, स्वप्न असतात, आपल्याला काहीतरी करायचं असतं जीवनामध्ये, खूप काही गोष्टी आपण करू शकतो. आणि ते वय एवढं सुंदर वय असतं की त्याच्यामध्ये तुम्ही सगळं जग बदलू शकता इफ यू यूज युअर एनर्जी पॉझिटिव्हली. आणि त्यांना त्या वयामध्ये कळालं की ते त्यांना बरोबर उभं राहता येत नाही, त्यांची बॉडी म्हणजे ढिली पडत आहे. क्लमसी त्याला असा शब्द दिलेला आहे. देन सेकंड ही सेड, कधी कधी ते उभा आहेत आणि अचानक ते खाली पडत आहेत, कोणतंही कारण नसताना, कोणी त्यांना लोटत नाही. मग ते त्यांच्या डॉक्टरांकडे गेले. डॉक्टरने त्यांना सांगितलं की तुम्ही जगात एक म्हणजे खूप दुर्मिळ असा आजार आहे, त्या आजाराला ग्रस्त आहे. आणि त्या आजाराचा परिणाम काय असतो की तो नर्वस सिस्टम आणि जे स्नायू आहे त्यांना खास करतो. म्हणजे बॉडीचं मुवमेंटच होणार नाही काही एक्सेप्ट आय. देन आता हे त्यांच्यासाठी खूप शॉक होतं, कारण कोणत्याही मुलासाठी ते तसंच होणार आहे. पुढे ते त्यांची जुनी एक आठवण सांगतात की जेव्हा ते लहान होते तर लहानपणीच त्यांच्या हाताचं जे कॉर्डिनेशन ते बरोबर नव्हतं, कारण हातातले जे स्नायू होते ते कॉर्डिनेट करत नव्हते. म्हणून ते लिहिता त्यांची जी हँडरायटिंग होती, त्यांचं जे लिखाण होतं एवढं म्हणजे ते चिडमिड आपण असं म्हणतो ना काहीतरी, तर तशा प्रकारचं होतं. शिक्षकांनी पाहिल्याबरोबर त्यांना एवढा राग यायचा की स्टीफन हॉकिंगला मारावं असं त्यांना वाटायचं. तर हे एक अनएक्सपेक्टेड शॉक होता त्यांच्यासाठी, सरप्राईज होतं. कोणत्याही मुलाला ते सरप्राईजेस होईल. Page number 63, paragraph number 5. We have difficult words here, so please see this. Paragraph number 5, page number 63. Here we go. How much time he had left on this planet was very uncertain. The prognosis was bad, and the doctor said they could not do much. Undoubtedly, Stephen decided to continue his research and even got engaged to Jane Wilde. Hawking says that, ironic as it may sound, it is at this dismal stage he began enjoying life the most. This, he says, was because he started living life for the moment and continues his doctoral research work with renewed vigor. Paragraph number 5 is really beautiful. Actually, nobody had an idea, even his parents, friends, doctors, that how much time had left him. Whenever he will die, he may die tomorrow, day after tomorrow, or within 8 days or 15 days or in a year. There is no fixed time, because that as disease will overcome his body, he will go really very close to the death. So nobody can say that. Then this prognosis means whatever doctor has forecasted. Prognosis means say future. Doctor said they cannot do much because at that time in 1940 medical science was not that much developed, and there were no that type of we can say arrangements or medicines and different types of operational things for such a disease. So doctor could not do more. Then though he had no time, though there was no fix about his future and life, that whenever he will die, how much time he has, but he started living his life. That is the beautiful thing about him. Even though he got engaged with a girl, dressed afterwards she became his wife, Jen Wild, and he started enjoying his life and his days. Apart from that, he knew that he is really very close, or whatever life he has so dangerous, and he is really very close to the death. Then also he lived each and every moment whatever he had. That time he could walk slowly, and little bit part of the body were just affected. Rest of body was good at the time of whenever he was teenager. Then at the same time he started studying or continuing his doctoral research, or whatever research he was taking about black hole. He has done mostly about the black hole, and even though so many things, and that shows his strength and his power and his positivity of life. पॅराग्राफ 5 मध्ये त्यांच्या जीवनाबद्दल म्हणजे व्हॉट कॅन बी लर्न फ्रॉम हिम. तर पॅराग्राफ 5 मध्ये ते सांगतात की त्यांच्याकडे किती वेळ शिल्लक आहे ह्या रोगामुळे सांगता येणार नव्हतं. कदाचित ते 8 दिवसामध्ये करू शकत होते आणि त्यांचं वर्षामध्ये सुद्धा मरण फिक्स होतं. त्यावेळेस मेडिकल सायन्स एवढी डेव्हलप नव्हती म्हणून डॉक्टर काही करू शकत नव्हते. तरीही त्यांनी जीवन जगायचं म्हणजे निर्णय घेतला. खूप छान जीवन जगायचे. इवन त्यांचं म्हणजे जे डॉक्टरल रिसर्च होतं तेही त्यांचं चालू होतं. ते सगळे जीवनाचे क्षण एन्जॉय करायचे. हे त्यांच्या जीवनाबद्दलचं म्हणजे पॉझिटिव्हिटी आणि त्यांचं स्ट्रेंथ पॉवर दाखवतं. पेज नंबर 63, paragraph number 6, we have difficult only one word we have. In the meanwhile, the disease worked its way into Stephen's body and left him disabled. He began studying the concept of black holes. To get his PhD by this time, he was confined to a wheelchair and was rapidly losing control of his hands and speech. The study of black holes sparked his imagination with bright ideas. He made many epoch-making statements that should establish theories. Scientists believe that the universe began with a Big Bang. To explain this concept better, Stephen invented what is known as Lie algebra. Okay, paragraph 6 is about his life. Whenever time was passing, every passing time, every passing moment, every passing weeks and years, that disease took over on his body, and slowly his movement of the body began to stop. Then he could not speak, even though his tongue cannot move, so the word cannot come outside. Then meanwhile he just went on studying about black holes. Before him, so very few scientists were there in the history of science, those who touched that field. So he was the very first, we can say, in that category, who went on this study and got his PhD. By that time he was on completely wheelchair, cannot move, he cannot walk by himself, only wheelchair can have as a help. Then he started studies, and whatever the black holes and whatever that phenomena and things are there, that inspired Stephen Hawking so much, and he continued his study further. Then he had made so many new statements that shocked the world of scientists. So many, the world of scientists and even the world, the human world, started listening so many things very first time from him. So to explain so many, this is the concept. There are so many concepts how universe began. There are stock theories and Big Bang and so many string theories and multi-universe. But the Big Bang is mostly considered as so much trustworthy. Then to explain this concept, he invented a new thing that is called Lie algebra, and he explains this all in it. The paragraph 6 मध्ये स्टीफन हॉकिंगचं जसं वय वाढत होतं तसं ते जो आजार आहे तो त्या आजाराने त्यांच्या शरीराला म्हणजे मुवमेंट लेस केलं होतं. शेवटी त्यांना व्हीलचेअरवर बसावं लागलं. ते स्वतः काही करू शकत नव्हते. मुवमेंट हाताची बोलण्याची पूर्ण हळूहळू संपत होती. नेक्स्ट त्यांचं ब्लॅक होलचं स्टडी सुरूच होतं. दरम्यान त्यांना PhD भेटली त्या रिसर्चवर, आणि नंतर त्यांनी खूप महत्त्वाचं त्याच्यामध्ये रिसर्च केलेलं आहे. त्यांचे काही स्टेटमेंट एवढे खतरनाक आहे की काही अनेक सायंटिस्टना ते म्हणजे अव्यावहारिक वाटतात, पण ते खरे आहे एका अर्थानं. And to understand the Stephen Hawking, we need to be Stephen Hawking because we need to go on that platform. We cannot just understand. तर आणि त्यावेळेस अनेक अशा कॉन्सेप्ट होत्या अबाउट युनिवर्स, ओरिजिन ऑफ युनिवर्स, आपण कुठून आलो, त्याचं कसं निर्माण झालं, युनिवर्स कसं निर्माण झालं, स्टार्स, प्लॅनेट्स, सेलेस्टियल ऑब्जेक्ट्स, एव्हरीथिंग, blah blah blah. So to explain it, he invented a new thing that is called lie algebra. That is the way of explanation. So this is all about paragraph number 6.